Hey, my name is Kelby. I'm passionate about digital media, movies, video, and business. That's why I created this show. It's a show about entrepreneurship from an entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you about a few things that I learned in the past, maybe some things I'm learning right now, and even a few things that I'm struggling with. This is a place for us to communicate with one another and learn and grow. This is Top 3 with Kelby Joseph. So, who am I? I'm not a business guru. I'm actually just a normal person. However, when I was in middle school and in high school, I used to buy a bag of lollipops for a single $1. Each bag used to have 25 pieces of candy in them. I used to sell the candy for 25 cents a piece. I was making $5.25 pure profit. That's when I knew I might be an entrepreneur. Fast forward a few years, in 2009, I jumped on a plane, went to LA to go work in Hollywood. I knew that walking into the casting room, I might not have the it factor, at least not on the first glance. So I knew I'd have to learn the skill of acting, but I have to really understand the business of Hollywood. I used to have a teacher back in college that used to say, it's show business. And I took that to heart. In 2012, I started KKO Productions, the production company that has made awesome videos for a lot of cool people and even cooler companies. And from there, I made a couple feature films that you might have seen. Despite some major wins, there were a lot of failures as well. So I was really eager to learn more about business. So I jumped into a graduate MBA program. I was very nervous. I had never taken a formal business class in my life. And here I am, just jumping right on into the deepest part of the pool. But in 2019, I graduated with a 3.79 GPA, and now I have an MBA in entrepreneurship. I also was pretty obsessed with Scott Galloway and minority mindset videos. If you know, you know, and you're not the only one. Okay, before we get started, this is not a class. This is not a class. It's just a place for me, as somebody who started something off the ground, to express to you a few things that I've learned, as well as maybe a few things that I'm going to learn, or some things that I'm struggling with. I've learned a lot of lessons, and I have a lot of lessons to learn. So hopefully, as I speak, you guys can tell me some things that I can learn as well. That's what I'm looking forward to, an open space for people to learn. I call the show Top 3 because in every episode, we're going to talk about 3 things. So with that being said, I want you to share and like and comment whatever it is that you want to say, because hopefully I'll be able to read them, and on the next episode, we could talk about them. Anyway, if you guys are ready to go, let's get started. When you type in what is entrepreneurship on Google, here's what it says. The activity of setting up a business or businesses taking on financial risks in the hope of profit. The word that pops right into my vision is the word risks. In life, you want to minimize your risks, okay? The same applies for business. Risks, they're going to be there, but making sure that they're super tiny, it's going to up your chance at getting to that profit, the land of milk and honey. So, here are a few things that I wish I knew in 2012. Point number 1, $0 makes $0. We definitely live in a time right now where as soon as you watch this video, an ad is gonna come up that's gonna say, start a business today, you're gonna be a millionaire by the end of the month, and you don't have to spend any money. Yeah, sorry, but in my experience, $0 makes $0, and nothing makes nothing. It costs money to make money. Duh, you've heard it before. The second point is know your industry. Here is a stat that you might find interesting. 20% of small businesses fail in their first year. 30% of small businesses fail in their second year, and 50% of small businesses fail after 5 years in business. Finally, 70% of small business owners fail in their 10th year of business. So that's a lot of failure. So before you dump all of your money into your brilliant idea, maybe do a little bit of research. Who else has had this idea of yours? How large are they? How much money are they making? Are they a huge company, small? What are the barriers to entry? That means how much money or time or effort do you have to spend to jump into this business? With that, it can help you choose what direction you want to go in, and maybe you'll know what you're getting yourself into before it's too late. My third point is have a business plan. I know everywhere on the internet it's just corny or dumb or lame because you never know what's going to happen to have a business plan. However, the business plan is not always for somebody else. I've seen plenty of internet business gurus that say, hey, they just had a great idea and then Shaq walked into the room and he invested $7 billion into their company. But guess what? That might not happen with you. Not to say it won't, but So it's not always for somebody you're trying to borrow money from or whatever. It could just be you. From my experience, I wrote out a business plan, but it wasn't all that detailed enough. And I realized that now looking back. With that business plan, you could tell yourself in what direction you want to go in and how you're going to get there. There's a lot of times we know what we want, but we don't know to make a left turn here or make a right turn there or whatever. So it's important to have a business plan just for your own sake, your own sanity. That's one of the things I wish I knew in 2012, even though I already had one. Make a detailed one. Those are 3 points I wish I knew in 2012. It's all about minimizing your risks and maximizing your profit. We've all experienced it. Somebody posts on their social media that they got a new job and they're met with 4,000 likes and 8,000 comments of congratulations and this is amazing and that's so great and that's awesome and we love you. And then you have been sweating and slaving away for years trying to start your own business, and when you finally do and you announce it to the world, maybe one person says, hey, good job, bro. Yeah, it doesn't feel all that good, but that has to do with that stat that I mentioned before. A lot of people fail, or some people think that to succeed, you have to have started off with millions and millions of dollars. You just have to be born into it. Well, there's a book that I'm reading that tells me that that's not 100% true. Today, and probably pretty often, I'm going to be pulling from this book. It's called How Did Warren Buffett Succeed by James E. Pierre. It's an awesome book. You might want to check it out. At the time that the book was published, out of 585 billionaires, that's B, billionaires, residing in the US of A whopping 62% are self-made. That means they're starting off with nada. 80% of millionaires did not inherit their wealth, earning their first $1 million the old-fashioned way. 50% of millionaires are self-employed or they own their own business. Take a guess at how many millionaires are retired. 20%. That means 80% of millionaires wake up every day just like you and I and go to work and clock in and clock out. That might be working for themselves or working for someone else. Another cool fact, 80% of millionaires have a college degree. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. With that being said, success is not impossible at all. I know I want to be amongst those stats of millionaires and billionaires. So it goes back for me to being prepared and informed about the choices that I'm going to make. Alrighty, where do you want to start a business? I know on my end, it's important enough to know about why we're starting a business and how, and being prepared and knowing what we're getting ourselves into. Let's talk about the money then, shall we? So we already talked about how money makes money and zero makes zero. Yeah. So why do you need so much money? From my end, I didn't have a guru or somebody who was going to tell me the way it works and make sure I didn't make bad decisions. I just had to weather the storm. I needed money to make mistakes, honestly. In my first few years of business, I was spending and spending and spending, trying to figure it out. As an individual who had no prior business experience, my main investors were me, myself, and I. I couldn't convince anybody to spend however many dollars into a business that I never worked in before and I never had experience in and I never made a dollar from. So all of the money had to come from me. Okay, from the book, How Did Warren Buffett Succeed? The author, James, explains how to save money. All right. His method is save $300 a week. At the end of the year, you'll have $15,600. How do you save $300 every single week? That's a lot of money. Trust, I know, I understand. There's two options. The first one is going and getting a second job. That second job is not going to be a part of the money that you use to pay your bills or you go on vacation or anything like that. You take that money and you put it into your savings account and you save that $300 every single week. Second point, you remember how I said 80% of millionaires have a college degree? Well, a lot of them invested into themselves so that way they didn't have to get a second job. They could get out of college and with a couple years of experience, they can make enough money to save that $300 a week. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you what you guys study, but it's important to know what you're getting yourself into. For me, I decided to get into acting and I thought, if I book a couple commercials every year, maybe I can make $100,000. Didn't quite work out that way, but hey, I tried. Those are the top 3 points of today's episode. I'm pulling a lot from this book right here. It's called How Did Warren Buffett Succeed? It's a book that tells you how to go from being broke to being a millionaire in 9 years. The author is funny, he's cool, he's pretty quippy, and I've read it multiple times, and this time it just hit me a little bit harder than ever. If you guys like it, share, comment, anything like that, I'd love to have that open conversation and dialogue with you. If not, well, that sucks. My name is Kelby. This is Top 3.